UniFi's previous PTZ solution came in at a whopping $1,800. Well, this product right here is the new most budget option in their PTZ lineup. This is the G5 PTZ and it's $299. Hey everyone, my name is Monty and welcome to Inside Wire. I can hear you all asking, well, is it worth buying at $300? We're gonna find out in this video. This is the box itself, so it comes with a couple of different mounting options within, which we will have a look at. We can go ahead and do the pull tab like we've seen on most Ubiquiti devices now, and we can go ahead and slide this out. This is the device and it's a little bit smaller than I was expecting it to be. It's probably a little bit bigger than a cricket ball or a baseball, so it's a little bit bigger in size. It comes with a fair bit of weight, so it is a little bit heavy, and the lens at the front that you can see here is nicely covered. We have the Ethernet port at the top right here. On the front down here, you've probably got a microphone and speaker that we'll go and test. And we have the mounting option that comes inside the box. Now, this can either be wall mounted or it can be pole mounted. So you have two different options. We have a level for wherever you're deciding to screw it up. So here are the options for the pole mounts. We also have a couple of extra screws that come in just to make sure they are secure. Let's jump straight into the specs next. And this is a 2K camera, which is 4 megapixel for the video resolution. It has a 2x optical zoom. Now on the specs on their website, it doesn't mention anything about digital zoom, but I know it does have it, so we will have a look at that in the video. It does 20 meters worth of IR night vision, which is about 65 feet. And this comes in at $299. And for those in the UK, that's £286 roughly on the UK website. It has the AI event detections that you've come to see in UniFi Protect, and it has an integrated microphone that I showed you just here and the LED spotlight at the top. It does require PoE Plus and not just PoE because there's a bit more power in this, and it's IP66 rated. One final thing before we go outside and get this installed and then we can have a look inside UniFi Protect is the different mounting options. Now you have a few different options when it comes to mounting this. We said there's a few that comes in the box. The additional ones can be purchased on UniFi's website ranging from $90. I have one right here that you can buy additionally. This is an in-ceiling mount which is $39. There's a surface mount option that you can buy. There's a pendant mount, a corner mount, and even a conduit mount. And these start from just $19 going all the way up to $39. This is the first bracket that's gone in, and we've fed the cable down from underneath. Now, if you want to fully weatherproof this, you need to install the rubber grommet on here, and you can pop your Ethernet cable straight through here, and then that goes in down below, and then we can go ahead and pop this on here. Plug the Ethernet cable into the top of the camera. This just literally slides straight in, and you can see that bracket, and you can pull all the excess cable back through the other side, so it's all hidden away. Once you've got that top in, there's this final piece to pop on which has a screw hole at the top, so we can just put this straight on here like so, and then push it in, and you can see that's all connected. You can screw that screw in at the top to make sure it's kept secure. We have the G5 PTZ now installed, and we're going to go ahead and get it adopted into UniFi Protect. Here we click adopt, and that's now going to go ahead and adopt. This is the PTZ itself, so just to show you that we're running 4.71.133 for the firmware versions. Now, in terms of recording options, you have most probably the standard ones you tend to see, the recording mode of event only and continuous, how much you want to record at motion events, what kind of detections you want, animal, person, vehicle, and also the audio detections, what you want from those, baby crying, CO, and smoke alarm. You have the FPS, so you can go auto or custom, so all the way up to 30 frames per second. The encoding, do you want enhanced or standard? And the resolution of recording, do you want 2K or HD? On the settings side, again, is all standard, camera name, microphone, so there's nothing out of the ordinary that I haven't seen before. One thing is right here is the home view, so you can select where you want the home view to be, just there for example, and we can go ahead and press save. And at any point, if we're watching it, we can press R and then we can return to home. We have the notification settings, so at the moment it's set to global, but you have the other options, and we have the real-time streaming protocol. We'll go through to the live view of the camera now, and we're going to run through some of the settings that we have on here. And having a quick look at the top just here, you have detection highlights, you have adjust focus, mute or unmute. You can take a snapshot, and there's some settings in here for image tuning, which you can see down here, gives you all those options, and some advanced options if you really want to tweak that image. A couple of additional settings in the top right hand corner as well is there is a reset to home. So for example, I can use my keyboard to move around the image using the arrow keys, and then I've reset a home place. and that then automatically goes back there, which is good. And you can do that by pressing the letter R as well. So we have presets as well that are set on here. So if I press 4, for example, it automatically goes there, and then 3, and then if we go to 1, again, it goes back. Or if I press R, it resets to home, which is exactly the same location right here. You can easily set up presets by moving to another location, and then you can just press S, and that's now set to preset 5, and you can name them. So if I go to preset 4, for example, now you can easily switch back to preset 5. Next one is person auto tracking, but we'll go outside to test that one to see how well that works, and you can turn on mouse control as well. The last thing I'm going to show you on the image before we do the day and night testing is the functionality of the zoom. So we have one in the top right hand corner just up here, and that allows you to do a optical zoom, digital zoom, sorry, of up to 800%. So you can see that zooms in quite closely, but it also gets very pixelated. If we actually go and move the image slightly, and we can go ahead and then test the optical zoom. So we zoom into the bins just at the back there, and you can see that's actually relatively clear in terms of the optical zoom, and the detail of the grass is obviously there with the optical, and we can zoom in again all the way up to 800%. We're now starting with the outdoor daytime picture, and this is me just standing approximately about 10 meters away from the camera, just to give you a rough idea. And this is the 1x optical zoom, and then when we zoom in a little bit further, you can see this is the 2x. So the image at daytime is still really clear and very viewable. Next feature I want to try out is the auto tracking, and one thing I noticed when this was around is it tracks the second person. So it doesn't keep both people in frame all the time, but it definitely tracks that second person. So we went and tried it again. We walked back across the other garden, and you can see that it's the second person that gets tracked. So we're going to try this a third time now with me waiting at the back, and to see what happens with the camera and how it tracks. So you can see my daughter's gone off the screen, but there's still me, and it's tracking me as I go along towards the end once we're both together. Next, we're going to move into the color night vision, or Ubiquiti's equivalent, and I'm standing at the front, and I'm going to push myself to the back now, and you can see the picture now starts getting really pixelated, probably about 6 meters away at this point, so not too far away as you would expect from the camera. As I move closer, the color night vision slightly moved out of focus, and you can see the blur following it as well. But the auto tracking does work when you're closer to the camera. Testing the IR sensor at the back, and again, this is me about 8 to 10 meters away, and the image is actually relatively clear considering it's using IR. Now is a quick browse of the back garden, so you can have a quick look at how well it works at night time and what you would expect to see. And we can zoom in with the 2x optical zoom just to see how clearer the picture can get. So zooming in on the swings just there, it picks up a relatively decent image. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the question of, well, is the camera worth it? So for $299, I had a little look on Amazon to see what else you could find. And there are tons of cameras that come straight from China that have got cheap sensors in them. They're built cheaply and they don't really work that well. They promise a lot that they can't deliver. However, there are some consumer brands out there like UniFi, Reolink, which are quite good among the consumer markets. So I found one Reolink camera at $250. This has a 4K camera versus a 2K camera. It has a 5x optical zoom versus 2x optical zoom, and it has a color night vision. So looking at that side by side, you may actually be tempted to go for the Reolink option, looking at the slightly better for specifications. Now, if you want to see something like a head-to-head on this, let me know down in the comments below and we'll see if we can put something like that together. The second option is looking within the UniFi ecosystem, as that's an option as well. So instead of actually buying one camera, you look at two. So you can put the G5 bullets side by side. They work out at $258 and £246 if you're in the UK, and it almost gives you 180 degrees worth of coverage, which is what I have in my back garden, looking at side to side. The other option, if you need that slightly wider field of view, is the Turret Ultra, which has a 200-degree field of view. And the Turret Ultra only has a 0.3-inch smaller sensor than the G5 PTZ. The only thing you are missing from that different lineup is the optical zoom. You will still have the digital zoom functionality. You've got to weigh up the pros and the cons. This, with the PTZ, you'll have it constantly. You'd have to pan all the time to know where it is. Patrol mode isn't here yet, so it still stays in one static option. But with the other camera, you have the options where you have a field of view all the time across the full 180 degrees. So you have to weigh up the options between the two. Again, if you want to see another comparison of how those would look, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do to put something like that together. I would have liked to actually introduce it into this video, but I don't have the hardware currently, so it probably might need to be another video. So what do I like about this camera? Well, it's another camera that's to the UniFi ecosystem. It's a cheaper option for the PTZ versus the $1,800, which is amazing. This is a very much more affordable option for a lot of people. The image is clear. I think the 2x optical zoom is great. It would have been better if it was 3, 4 or 5. It would have been that little bit more better. The image off the UniFi cameras are relatively decent, so you can't complain with that. And all the rest of the settings you generally expect from the other cameras, you get straight on here as well. The final good thing that I really like about this camera is the versatile of the different mounting options. Normally you'd be waiting a little while for all these different accessories to come out, but it's come out with it, which makes it really easy for fitting them in all those different scenarios. The only bad thing at this point that I can think of that doesn't do justice for this camera is the availability. Now, a lot of people are going to be kicking and screaming at this point that the G5 PTZs aren't as available as they would like to be because they've been sold out for a little while. Hopefully within the next little while, Ubiquiti will be getting a little bit more influx of stock and you'll easily be able to get your hands on one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I want to know what you think about the one camera versus two camera option, and would you look at an alternate brand like Reolink, or if there's any other amp camera that I have missed, let me know down in the comments as well. For now, this is Inside Wire, and I'll see you in the next one.